The Nuggets take on the Cavaliers, 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Cleveland. The Nuggets are -8 on the road here. Total's 220.5. And if you like the Cavaliers in an upset victory on their home court here tonight, they're plus 265 on the money line. We're 4-1 in our last 5 NBA tier membership picks on my Patreon website. We're also 10-2 in our last 12 $1.99 daily best plays on that website as well. The Cavaliers are on an 8-game losing streak, 0-11 against the point spread in their last 11 straight as well. Love, Drummond, Dellavedova, and Nance are still out. Taurean Prince has been ruled out tonight as well. Cleveland's last in three-point shooting, bottom 3 in scoring. They're taking on a Denver squad who ranks in the top 10 in road scoring themselves. And they also rank in the top 10 in shooting the three ball. Nikola Jokic is scoring 27 points a game along with 11 boards and 8 assists. Meanwhile, Jamal Murray scoring nearly 20 a night himself along with 4 boards and 4 assists as well. The Nuggets defensively are in the top 3 in rebounding on the road. And when it comes to the total in this one, Denver saw 7 out of their last 10 contests get over the number, 10-4 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw 4 out of their last 5 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Denver Nuggets, -8, and the over 220.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Warriors Magic, 7 p.m. Eastern start time in Orlando. The Golden State Warriors are -4.5 away from home, numbers 225 flat. Now the Warriors won 4 out of their last 5 ball games, and they rank in the top 10 in the league in scoring. Steph Curry's scoring 30 a game, just like his number. He's scoring 30 a game, along with 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Meanwhile, Andrew Wiggins is scoring over 17 a night himself, along with 4 boards and a couple assists as well. The Warriors are in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage. They're taking on an Orlando team who's lost 7 out of their last 10 ball games themselves, and they win just 42% of their home games. The Magic's dead last in offensive field goal percentage, dead last in home scoring as well. The Magic's averaging just 104 points a night at the Amway Center. Aaron Gordon's still out. Fournier and Ennis are questionable. When it comes to the total on this one, Orlando saw 5 out of their last 6 ball games stay under the number, 9-5 to the under on their home court. Meanwhile, Golden State went 4-2 to the under in their last 6 themselves, 70% to the under in their last 10 meetings with Orlando. I'm going to lean toward the Golden State Warriors, -4.5, and the under 225. Next matchup, Bulls-Sixers, 7:30 East. The Philadelphia 76ers are -9 at home. Total's 229.5. Now, Philadelphia is 12-2 straight up at the Wells Fargo Center, 9-4 against the number in those home games. Philly's in the top 3 in home offensive field goal percentage, top 5 in home scoring. Joel Embiid's scoring nearly 30 a game, along with 10 boards and 3 assists. Meanwhile, Tobias Harris is scoring over 20 a night himself, along with 7 boards and 3 assists as well. In addition to averaging 118 points a game at home, the Sixers also rank in the top 3 in home defensive rebounding as well. They're taking on a Chicago team who's still going to work without the efforts of Lauri Markkanen and Chandler Hutchison. The Bulls have also failed to cover the number in 5 out of their last 8 ball games, and they're in the bottom 5 in the NBA in points allowed. The Bulls are allowing nearly 117 points a night when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the Philadelphia 76ers, -9, getting the job done here tonight on their home court. Next matchup, Hawks versus the Celtics, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Celtics are -4 at the Garden. Total's 226.5. Boston's covering nearly 70% of their games at home this season, 8-4 against the number at the Garden, top 10 in home points allowed. And despite the possible absence of Jaylen Brown here this evening, Jason Tatum's still averaging 25 points a game, along with 7 boards and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Kemba Walker's also scoring over 16 a night himself, along with 3 rebounds and 4 assists as well. Boston is in the top 5 in defending the 3 ball at home. Now the Celtics are taking on a struggling Atlanta squad who lost 7 out of their last 9. And they covered the point spread in just 3 of those games during that stretch. Atlanta's in the bottom 10 in three-point percentage, bottom 10 in fourth quarter scoring on the road. And when it comes to the number in this one, Atlanta's 8-5 to the under on the road this season. Boston saw 3 out of their last 4 stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Boston Celtics -4 and the under 226.5. Next matchup, Suns versus the Pels, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Suns are -3 on the road, numbers 231.5. And if you like the Pelicans in an upset at home, they're +130 on the money line. Now New Orleans has dropped 4 out of their last 5 ball games, just 1-4 against the spread in those 5 contests. The Pels are in the bottom 3 in defending the 3 ball, and they also allow 115 points a night. Steven Adams is once again doubtful to play here tonight. They're taking on a Suns team who's won 6 out of their last 7. And they also covered the number in 8 out of their last 10. Just absolute covering machines this month. Phoenix is in the top 5 in points allowed, top 10 in defending the 3 ball. Devin Booker scoring nearly 25 points a game along with 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Meanwhile, Chris Paul scoring 17 a night himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the veteran point guard. Now, total-wise, Phoenix is 8-4 to the under on the road. Meanwhile, the Pelicans saw contests with Memphis, Indiana, and Sacramento stay under the line themselves this month. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns -3 and the under 231.5. All right, next game, Pistons versus the Grizzlies, 8 p.m. East. The Grizzlies are -5 at home, totals 221 and a hook. The Grizzlies have won 3 out of their last 5 ball games. Victories over the likes of OKC, Sacramento, and Charlotte. Memphis is also in the top 10 defensively in first quarter points allowed. Ja Morant scoring 18 points a game along with 3 rebounds, 8 assists. Meanwhile, Jonas Valanciunas is also scoring nearly 17 a night himself along with double-digit rebounds and a couple assists a game as well. Now they are taking on a Detroit squad who really just doesn't travel well at all. They're 2-12 straight up on the road this season, 5-9 against the number in those 14 road contests, depending on where you shop at. Detroit's last in defensive field goal percentage on the road, and they give up 117 points a game in that same category. Griffin and Jackson are once again questionable. I think they're getting ready to deal Griffin here pretty soon, probably this week or maybe next week. But anyway, total-wise, 3 out of Detroit's last 5 contests got over the line, throwing out the Chicago game. The Pistons are officially 9-5 to the over on the road as well. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies saw their last 7 straight get over the number themselves, 90% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Memphis Grizzlies -5 and the over 221.5. All right, next ball game, it is going to be OKC versus Milwaukee, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. The Milwaukee Bucks are -11 at home, numbers 232.5. But as solid as the Bucks have been at home, they're right in the heart of a 5-game losing streak. And they also failed to cover the point spread in all 5 of those matchups. Just really struggling right now. I can't remember the last time they had a 5-game losing streak. If you guys know, let me know in the comments section. Probably hasn't been within the past decade. But anyway, the Bucks are in the bottom 10 in defending the 3 ball. They give up 113 points per contest. Now, Holiday and Nwora are still out for Milwaukee. They're taking on an OKC squad who's 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. And they should finally have a healthy Shai Gilgeous-Alexander back in the lineup here tonight. SGA scores 22 points a game along with 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Al Horford scoring nearly 15 points a game himself. 6 rebounds, 3 assists a night for the crafty veteran. Thunders currently 11-4 against the spread when traveling this season, one of the best road covering teams in the association. And they also rank in the top 10 defensively in points allowed on the road. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, 3 out of OKC's last 4 stayed under the number. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Milwaukee. And speaking of the Bucks, 2 out of their last 3 contests stayed under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog OKC Thunder +11 and the under 232.5. Next contest, Raptors, T-Wolves, 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Minnesota. The Raptors are minus 3.5 on the road here, numbers 227. And if you like the T-Wolves in an upset at home, they're plus $1.30 for some money line cash. Now, Minnesota saw 5 out of their last 7 ball games get over the posted total. Overs against the likes of Indiana, Charlotte, Clippers, Dallas, and OKC. Minnesota also saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with the Raptors get over the number as well. So if you're into historical trends here, looks like it's leaning toward the over. Meanwhile, 8 out of Toronto's last 10 contests got over the line themselves. 12-5 to the over when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the over 227 in that game. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. Jazz Clippers, 10 p.m. East. The Jazz are minus 4 on the road. Totals 225.5. Now, the Jazz saw 2 out of their last 3 contests stay under the line, 8-6 to the under when they travel. Meanwhile, the Clippers saw games with Cleveland, Sacramento, and this very Utah team stay under the line this month as well. Matter of fact, 4 out of the Clippers' last 5 meetings with Utah stayed under the posted total. And one more thing to add, the Clippers also find themselves 11-5 to the under in their last 16 against the Northwest Division. I'm going to lean toward the under 225.5 in that matchup. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap. I like Denver minus 8 over 220.5. Golden State minus 4.5 under 225. The 76ers minus 9 getting the job done at home. I also like Boston minus 4 under 226.5. Suns minus 3 under 231.5. Memphis minus 5 over 221 and a hook. OKC plus 11 under 232.5. I also like the over 227 in the Raptors T-Wolves game. Before I give you my next and final matchup of the show, one final reminder that we are 4-1 in our last 5 NBA tier package picks on my website. We're also 10-2 in our last dozen $1.99 daily best plays on that same website as well. Give me the under 225.5 in the Jazz Clippers game. And guys, just got to remind you real quick, all the content on this channel is for entertainment only. We do not make guarantees of any kind here. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to King Jackson, Jamal Johnson. Shout out to your boy Bert _. Shout out to Andrew Placido, Sean Exclusive, JT McGee, Milwaukee Boy, Philip Wilson, Scott Rinker, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to Maya Doan. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And that, with that said, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And have a good day now.